So for anybody that has a booze cutting board or a booze block, you know that these babies are not that cheap, right? This one runs you about $200, but they are dynamite to use. These things, as long as you take care of them, they will last you forever. So today I'm going to show you how to mineralize your board and how to spread oil across it, because you'll notice after time, you should do this every 3 to 4 weeks, you'll see these dry spots occur, right? You don't want to leave those there a long time, because if you leave them there, it'll start cracking, and once it starts cracking, it then goes bad. And when you pay good money for a cutting board, you want it to last a very long time, and it's something that you may want to even pass down to your kids, right? Because you want to use it a lot. So I'm going to show you how I oil my block. It starts off with Booze Block Mystery Oil. So you spread this, it's like a mineral oil. Do not put any type of oil on your cutting board. It does not work. It must be a food grade oil. But you take this, you spread it on, and you leave it on there for about 30 minutes. You'll see it start to dry off, the oil. Once that dries off, what you're going to do is you're going to then go down and you're going to put some Booze Lock board cream. You don't need this brand. You can buy any brand you want. This is just a brand that I rely on. I got a booze cutting board, so I figure the lock cream and the mineral oil is just as good. And what the lock cream does is it's a lot thicker. It's like think of like a sort of like a Vaseline. Do not use Vaseline. Please do not use Vaseline on your cutting board. But it's basically that type of texture. You spread it on the top, and what you do is you rub it with a rag or a paper towel, and you let that soak in overnight, right? And you do this for about every month, and you will see that the longevity of your board will last you a very long time, okay? I'm using a paper towel. A lot of people will tell you, don't use a paper towel. It's absorbent. Doesn't make a difference to me. It is good. It works, and it gets the job done, right? You pour some booze oil on the rag, soak it up a little bit. You take over here, let's spray some on. Don't be greedy. And you're just going to wipe it in, right? You're going to make sure it's wiped in. Go with the grain, right? You want to go with the grain on your cutting board, and you want to make sure that you're getting down here all over, and you're doing a good job here. See, you want to make sure you get it nice and even. That's the key, right? You don't want to have any dry spots. And again, this is the first stage. You leave this on for about a half hour, and after about 30 minutes you're going to come back, give a good little quick wipe on the sides here, right? After you give a good quick wipe on the sides, what's going to happen is you're going to let that sit. Nice. Look at that coating. Look how sweet that is. It looks like you just shellacked it, right? Doesn't that look good? See that? It's looking good already. Now, this is going to dry off, right? But you're not going to see those bad dry spots. Make sure you get all the dry spots here. I'm starting to see a couple little spots, right? You want to make sure you get them all. Get it nice and wet there. See, you look for dry spots, go back and forth. You're only doing this once a month. Make sure you get it good. And like I said, when you're spending good money on a cutting board, you want to take care of it, okay? So we're going to let this sit for about 30 minutes, and then we're going to come back. Okay, 15 minutes into this, and it's coming good. As you can see, it's starting to dry up, and what I mean by dry up, I mean some areas you can see the glossiness is disappearing. See that? Look at that. If you want to rush it and you don't have any patience, I mean, you could always put a fan on it, but for me, it's like a glass of wine, right? Like a fine wine. You sip it. You don't guzzle it. So you can see there, right? You're no longer having those dry spots where the wood looks like it's going to crack. What you have here is the coating that you put on there is drying, so the glossiness is starting to disappear and it's starting to dry. This is beautiful. For anybody that loves cutting boards like I do, you know the feeling when you see this. It is freaking awesome. Okay, we're at the 30-minute mark, but I'm going to let this go another 30 minutes for about an hour, because I put a lot on there, and you can see it's drying, but it's still got some glossy spots, right? You don't want to put the coating wax on there until that's all gone, but this is, it's coming pretty good, all right? So we're going to give it another 30 minutes and come back and see what we got. Okay, we've got a really good dry going on here, and it's been about an hour and 5 minutes. So now we're going to move on to the next step, which is your wax. You're going to squirt the wax. Remember, I said the texture is almost like a really thick lotion. It's like a wax. Make sure you use a board wax. Do not try and throw candle wax on here. Do not, again, use Vaseline. That's my disclaimer. Don't try to use any substitute that you think is a waxy type of texture that's going to be a substitute for board cream, all right? So we're going to sprinkle this on, and then we're going to get back and we're going to rub it in. Okay, so I'm going to take a napkin, again, and what you're going to do is you're going to fold it up to about that size, right? And you're going to take each piece, and you're just going to massage the board. Right? You're just going to massage it. Think of someone in your house saying, hey, give me a rub down on my back. And this is really simple. It's a really simple process, right? Don't worry about evening it out now, right? You don't have to worry about that now. It's a little too soon. Just rub it in. Grab it. You're going to have some spots that are thicker than others, but you're just going to keep rubbing and massaging it. Now that you got these big clumps all over the place, see that? You got clumps. You got it nice and oiled. What you're going to do is you're going to rub that wax in, right? You're going to make sure that you go up and down with the grain and just keep massaging it. This is some good stuff right here, right? And after you massage it, you're going to rub it in. And now, once you're done, and you get a nice good rub in there, get the sides a nice good wipe, right? Because they're a little dry. You want to get the back. You want to get all the sides, right? Because you're not going to touch this for another 24 hours. So you want to get a rub. And now what you want to do is, now that you got it all massaged in there, I know some of you are probably saying, you don't massage a board, Ron. But here's what you do. Now, you take your napkin, not a clean napkin, use the same one, and you give it a good wipe. Right? You go with the grain. Give it a nice good wipe, and you come down and you go with the grain here. See, it's a really simple process. It takes time, but if you love your board and you have a little extra time, which during these days we probably got a lot of time on our hands, but you're in the house, just take care of your board. These things will last you 15, 20 years, if not more, right? You could pass this down to your family members, your kids. Your kids will always remember, my father or my mother loved that cutting board, and I will never get rid of it until they figure out that if they go on their countertop and it's all cracked because mom or dad never told them how to take care of it, right? But if you take care of your stuff, you can see here, you've got a beautiful shine. This is not going to go away after an hour like it did with the mineral oil. This is going to take all night because, again, it's a wax. It's going to go down. It's going to seal that moisture into the wood, and it's food safe, and it's going to keep your cutting board it's going to help you make that cutting board last a long time, right? You're going to let this sit for 24 hours, and then you're done. The next step is to grab yourself one of these, right? You grab yourself one of those, you go relax, and I hope you guys enjoyed.